Man, I do love me, the original 13 Primes, and the lore that surrounds them, especially as it was fleshed out in the Covenant of Primus. So I've been a big fan of Age of the Primes, doing those Primes proper. And today, we have the 6th in the lineage, the 6th Prime in the line. I'm really struggling with the word 6th. It's Alchemist Prime. Is he any good? We're going to find out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the Age of the Primes Alchemist Prime. Some people have said he's a weird hodgepodge mishmash of different versions of the character. And he is. Some people have said he seems kind of small and squat. He's actually not. And we'll talk about that when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so yesterday we continue, I'm going to say continue, with our look at the Wave 2 Age of the Primes Deluxes. I'm saying this because Crasher is a part of this wave, and I previously looked at her already. About 3 years ago, in episode 1018, when she was released as part of the Velocitron 500 set. So, if you're interested, you can go back to episode 1018 and see what I thought of her then. My thoughts haven't changed. In fact, I shared that review around again fairly recently. This is another of that wave, being Alchemist. And while, until now, I've always used the Cyberverse Macadam as my version of Alchemist Prime, since they're one and the same. Now that we have this guy, who is really an amalgamation of versions of Alchemist, I think I'll make him and Macadam like, I don't know, brothers or something? We'll see. We'll see as time goes on. I would love to do a side-by-side comparison, but right now some of my collection is in a bit of disarray, and I don't know exactly where Macadam is. When I find him, and if I remember, I'll try and do like a short or something like that, just showing them side by side. This is the packaging, Alchemist up here, and his vehicle mode over here with the lenses affixed to his arm, even though they are permanently affixed to his eyes, or his optics. Over here, the regular Age of the Primes artwork, and on the back, we can see both modes and what he can do with the lenses. Oh, we also have this nice two-sided sheet of instructions, and you know what? They're actually pretty darn effective. And here we have the famed lenses put together. In fact, on this lens we have Alchemist's symbol. Up here we have the ancient Autobot symbol, and over here, I think this ancient Autobot symbol was seen in part 4 of 5 Faces of Darkness. And over here we have Unicron's symbol as seen with the Blendtrons, I do believe. And what I'm holding onto on the ends are pegs that Alchemist can hold onto. In fact, it looks sort of like this. Yeah, sort of like this. So the lenses is an artifact of the Primes, just like the Matrix, just like the Star Saber, just like the Quill, just like, well, the Quill and the Covenant for that matter. So what do the lenses do as an artifact of the Prime? The lenses, which by rights are supposed to be permanently affixed to Alchemist's eyes themselves, and they are, but I guess they wanted to make them usable for fans and whatnot. But the lenses allow Alchemist to see further than any other living thing, both literally, so he can see very long distances, and what they say spiritually, whatever that means. Alchemist is able to perceive like various visible and invisible cycles of the universe. So he kind of sees all the flows and energy of the universe, right? If you've read the Covenant of Primus, in there it also says that the lenses allow Alchemist to see any side to any story, right, or problem. So he can see everything from all angles. Now, that's pretty powerful because it gives the guy the, I guess, ability to really tune in to other bots, to other cons. He knows how things are going to go. He's able to be very strategic, which is great because Alchemist, along with Alpha Trion, really started the earliest, I guess, forms of life on Cybertron. Like, they helped usher in the new bots that the Well of Allsparks created and ended up just blending in with society, right? Alpha Trion just being old and sage and wise, Alchemist becoming a bartender and calling himself McAdam, right? But they were both there and both trying to help build what would eventually become Cybertronian society. The lenses here can also go separated and put in the hands this way as, say, I don't know, blades, I guess we'll call them. Or you could leave them this way if you want them to be a little more melee, I suppose. Or if you're like me, you would take them off and put them on the sides of the arm. Let me just stand our guy up. Now, a lot of people have said that they find Alchemist to be stubby, small. I didn't really find that. In fact, here he is next to Deluxe Class Hound, and like he's like the same-ish size or height as Hound. In terms of size, though, Alchemist here is so much more. Hound is great, but he clocks in at about 78 grams of plastic. A little bit small for Deluxe. Not egregious, not bad, but just a little touch small. Alchemist here clocks in at a whopping 105 grams of plastic. And I'm telling you now, when you put him next to Hound, you can feel the density of the plastic. You can feel how robust everything feels on this guy. I've said it before with the Excellion and Sideways. They need to start using these more robust, hefty plastics. They need to be giving us more mass, more size, more solidity if they're going to be charging us the prices that they're charging us. You gotta give us more for our buying dollar. And I feel like now we're starting to get it with Age of the Primes. In terms of looks for this guy, this is where things get complicated. Because my version, I suppose, of Alchemist is really the Covenant of Primus version, though the Cyberverse version is certainly in there as well. In the end, based on my research that I've sort of done, it seems like there's some of the Covenant of Primus in here, a little bit of the Cyberverse in here as well, and even some of the Marvel Comics bartender coloration. So he's his own thing. I'm gonna have to default to giving him a 10 because I can't really compare him to any one version of Alchemist Prime. He's an amalgamation of all of them, which I guess makes sense for something that was a multiversal singularity. So we're gonna say a 10 for the look just by default. In terms of articulation, we have a head that goes left, right, up, down. The arms can go out to the side. They can go all the way around. We have a, take this off, we have a bicep swivel. We have an elbow. We do not have a wrist. In fact, the instructions, as good as what they are, they do show one step that if you do it, you're gonna stress the plastic, if not break it at the wrist. We'll talk about it when we get to the actual transformation. We have a free-flowing waist on the guy, legs all the way forward, legs really all the way back, thigh swivel, knee to 90 degrees, a little wiggle forward and back, but nothing really usable, and we do have a tilt going in. And not for nothing, the guy is good and solid on his feet when you plant him, right? When you plant him, he feels good and solid and hefty. Wrists would be nice. I think I said for the look we're defaulting to a 10. I wish we had a wrist. I'm going to say 9.5. I wish we had a wrist. So right now he's getting a 9.75. Let's do the transformation. I'm going to take these off of his arms first, just to make life a little easier. I'm also going to put his arms up over his head. It's worth noting that the instructions tell you to take the wrist and put it into the slot here in the forearm. However, there's a rounded molded section inside that forearm that keeps the wrist from going all the way in. If you do that, you're going to stress the plastic or break the wrist. I'm pretty sure that this is pinned, if I'm not mistaken. And if it's not pinned, I really don't want to risk it. It's not that I don't put them in, it's that I'm delicate about putting them in. They really only go in about that far, not all the way, and I tend to do it near the end of the transformation. Okay, so now that I got those up, I'm going to open the chest, and I'm going to flip the head in and close up the chest. I'm going to flip that down and flip that down, and open that section back, and open that section back. I'm going to rotate the waist around. I'm going to open out a leg and open out a leg. There are definitely some nods here to, say, Siege or Earthrise, Ironhide, and Ratchet, no doubt. Foot up, and now you can put these legs, or you should be able to put these legs together. Again, a mite difficult here now because it's so hot here that I think the plastic is a bit swollen. For those that don't know, where I live right now is having 30 plus degrees of heat the last few days, and we have like 3 or 4 out of control wildfires going on. So it's kind of hot and stressful here. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Don't worry, no, I'm not in any danger or anything like that. Just gotta be alert and safe, that's all. This can come down and flip. Oh, actually, I'm not gonna do that yet. Let's take the arms next and actually bring them in. We're gonna bend at the knees. I keep forgetting to do that. And bring that arm in, and it's there on top. And we'll bring this arm in and have it there on top as well. And these two shoulders, yeah, I should be able to peg together now just like that. Now I tend to fold in those hands just a little bit. Bring the legs up, and they can be, I don't want to say cumbersome to get up, but you just got to make sure that you get your clearance to get them up, and then you should be able to bring. Ah, no, I popped something off. Let's do a take 2 on this section. Give me a moment. Okay, pardon me. I just popped a hinge here. It was my own fault. These hands are back in. The arms are here. These are together. Now these fold up over the top. And they also peg together. By the way, Alchemist, just like all the primes, existed before there was a such thing as transformation and alt modes. So doing this for this review is probably the only time I'm ever going to put them in this mode. That comes back, and we should be able to make sure that it's fit in there. There we go, just like that. And I suppose if you are so inclined, you can take the two lens pieces and put them on the top, I guess? I'm not sure if there's anywhere else where they could go. The instructions say to put them on the top, and boom, here we have Alchemist in his alt mode. And the guy was getting a 10 for his look, a 9.5 for the articulation. I know I popped this hinge over here, but that was my fault. I think the transformation generally is quite good. It's not perfect, but it's quite good. I'm going to give it a 9. A couple of little things I really feel like are just slightly finicky, like wrapping these pieces up around. Just not a big deal, just ever so slightly finicky. Yeah, I'm gonna say a 9. He was getting a 9.75 overall, right? A 10, a 9.5, and a 9. Overall, this guy is a 9. Just to kind of show the front of him, I do like the front here. Very Transformers Prime Cup, very Bulkhead-esque, very Breakdown-esque, very Ironhide-esque, Ratchet-esque. You know, I feel like he's the prime of probably like builders and like more heavy-duty type of equipment and that sort of thing. I don't know if that's true, by the way. The back here leaves a little something to be desired with the fists hanging out. But overall, I think I really, really like it. Yeah, 9.5 for Alchemist Prime. And here we are once again, and here he is. And I love this. I really like his alt mode, though I don't think I'll ever need to put him in it again. Granted, I did pop this one arm off, but that was my own fault. I just didn't have the clearance past the leg. That had nothing to do with the mold or the integrity of the mold or anything like that. It was me being a Butterfingers. I love the head sculpt and how the optics actually do pop. I get that these are the lenses, but since the lenses are supposed to be affixed to his optics like forever glasses, I'm kind of glad that it still looks like that. As an amalgamation, drawing inspiration from McAdam from Cyberverse, a little bit of the Aligned Continuity, and even some of the coloration of the bartender from the Marvel Comics, I think it turned out real well. I see this and I think to myself, yeah, that seems Alchemist-like, you know, Alchemist-ish, I guess. I do think that putting these on the arms kind of helps the look a little bit. I prefer them this way, but you could really attach them whichever way you want. The thing that really gets me here, though, is the quality, because the heft is really here at 105 grams. I don't feel like I'm going to break anything. I don't feel like I'm going to stress anything. I know the danger is there with the hands, but all you got to do is just be sure not to push them in the entire way, which is pretty easy to do. There's really no reason to actually stress the hands. Yeah, he's a bit of a weird, I guess, version of the guy, since I was really expecting a lot along the Aligned Continuity lines. But I think it turned out really, really well. And it makes me enthusiastic about seeing how the rest of his brothers turn out. Can't say brothers and sisters because we already have Solus and she turned out pretty great too. Really happy with this guy. Let me know what you think about Alchemist Prime. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, man, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way, right here inside the videos.